You're listening to the Next Team podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Next Team Football, episode 40. And if you're watching for the first time, if you're watching on YouTube, you might see two new faces, and they are Kaushik and Raghav. Anyone can introduce themselves first.
So I'm Raghav, and I'm currently a university student, just like Vikas and Pramod, and I've been supporting Man United since pretty much my secondary school days.
Okay, Kaushik, what about you?
I'm Kaushik. I've been a United fan since 2006. I'm also a uni student like the rest of them, so I'm very happy to join this call.
Yep, and if you've already noticed by now, we have 4 United fans on the podcast today, and it should come as no surprise as the topic we're going to be discussing today will be about United, and we're going to take a bit of a throwback and bring back our big debate series. And today's topic is going to be about Man United and their season so far. So we all know how much of a torrid season they've had, and the big question is, who is to be blamed? Is it Ole? Is it the board? Is it the players? And that's what we're here to discuss today. And before we begin the debate proper, Pramod, our new message man.
Of course.
Take it away.
I mean, I have to do something, right? Because I haven't been doing much. But
Sure.
anyway, so as you all know, we have content on TikTok and Instagram as well. We always regularly post stuff for you to ponder about. So do follow us on TikTok and also on Spotify and Instagram as the Next Team podcast, and on TikTok as the Next Team SG. So go there, maybe comment something, like, I don't know, like the video.
Share
on
with your
YouTube
friends.
also. Yes. Just put some contradicting opinions so that we can have a think about it, and maybe we may talk about it. So yes.
Yeah, thanks, Pramod. And let's just get the debate started proper. So any of you guys can let's have our guest begin first. Kaushik or Raghav, either of you can start. Yeah.
Are you gonna go first?
You go first, Kaushik.
All right,
I think it's going to be pretty long.
Okay. So I think there are a couple of problems, right? I mean, longer term wise, the board has always been there to blame and whatnot, but I think as it stands right now, we really can't be blaming the board. They have fulfilled their promise of backing the squad. With this squad, I think any other manager, any decent manager, would be doing bits with the squad, and frankly, we really should be right on top. Lack of a CDM really should not be an issue. We saw it with Klopp, right? When he didn't have Fabinho, Liverpool played some really good football for about 2 years or so. They won the Champions League without a midfield. Really, their midfield function was really just to run around and cover the grass, get the ball back, press, and they let their defense and their wing backs do the main job, as well as supporting the attack, right? But yeah, I think as it stands, firstly, Ole is to blame. He has been a great manager. I'll give that to him. I mean, the work he's done with Luke Shaw is fabulous, and the way he managed to unite a squad that was just so torn apart after Mourinho, that was great. But since then, I feel like he really has not improved himself, right? I mean, for a manager today, it's not just about managing the egos and getting the ball up to your star players and just letting them do their thing. I think that was probably more prevalent in the 90s or 2000s. Right now, you really need a system. You need to be tactically well versed. A lot of teams, even the lesser teams, like even Brighton, are well drilled tactically, right? They come up with a good formation, they have a structure, they know what to do exactly. We just don't seem to be able to know what to do. I think that's really one of the biggest issues. There really is no tactics. Like if you ask me what like how do United play, I have no idea. I can't actually respond to that. The only answer I can give you is pass the ball to Bruno or get the ball to Pogba or Ronaldo and just hope something happens, right?
Individual
I mean,
brilliance.
sure. So if you do want to continue with that individual brilliance, great. I mean, the quality that these guys have should be good enough to take on most defenses and most teams. But at least you need some sort of structure in getting the ball to them efficiently, and as well as in defense, tracking back. Fred is a bloody joke. He's not doing much at all. He lost the ball twice against
Right.
Samurai Grey against the Everton counter, right? That's just ridiculous. I
Crim-
mean, for a
criminal.
CDM,
I
Yeah.
want to look at his passport. I don't believe he's Brazilian.
I don't too.
I
can't
think
be
y'all are doing Fred a
You-
bit too much here,
You
man.
can't be so bad with Brazilian
Really?
blood.
Okay, wait. Raghav might have a
Like-
contrasting view. Okay, come tell us, Raghav.
Like if you all notice, right, our current crop of players, why is it that when they go to during the international break, they all suddenly up their levels of performance? You're all probably forgetting that Fred went all the way to like
Wait.
what was that? I think the Copa America final.
Okay, but
With
Fred is
Brazil?
partnered with Fabinho or Casemiro. So no way he's
Yeah,
going to be bad.
But
Those two are the best
Fabinho
players
doesn't
in the world.
automatically make Fred a better player, you see. I kind of agree with what Kaushik said, that there isn't a decent tactical approach coming in there, while literally every other coach who has a style of play, I'll even go back to LVG for that example, because even though his style of football was shit, there was a style of football in there. Like the difference you can see is that the players are actually developed under LVG compared to under OD.
I disagree there. I don't think LVG has developed anyone, to be very honest. In fact, he's
No,
destroyed more
I would give
careers
a
than
few
anything.
examples to that actually.
Okay.
Because you can see a couple of players, like for example, you saw Cameron Borthwick Jackson. You saw
Where is he right now? Where is he right now?
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah,
that's my point. Where is he right now when he hasn't had that kind of manager who has developed him to bring out the best in him? That's the thing. You see all our players, right? Greenwood, he was insanely talented at 17. Even at 20, he's insanely talented. But have you really seen any bit of a development in his facet of play? At 17, he is a goal scorer for like the under 18s and all that. He's like their main forward. But now that he's moved into the right wing, have you seen him perhaps like add a new dimension to his play in terms of like, okay, now he's like giving crosses, or okay, now he's learning to like take on 2 or 3 people, extra play on the wing, hug the touchline, or know when to cut inside, that sort of thing. He's simply doing what a forward does from the right wing.
Okay, so you're saying, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Kaushik, you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so
I think Greenwood is doing that right. Like he's developed his game quite well. He's adding assists to his game. I mean, what more do you want from someone like him?
If
Yeah,
anything,
in
only
terms of
Ole-
tactical positional understanding, like you see, for example, the positions where you see a mature player, you see like a Bruno, a Cavani, right? They know where they need to be. They know what sort of runs they need to make in different situations. Like you saw Rashford's goal yesterday as the equalizer, right? He sort of has matured in the sense where he knows that the opportunity is there. He sniffs the opportunity and he knows which bending run to make for Lindelof to go and find him. But then what I'm saying is this sort of development, this sort of maturation, right, isn't exactly really noticeable from someone like Greenwood. He's doing the same things that he has done when he was 17. The only reason we are celebrating him is the fact that he was that good at 17 that he's good enough to literally tear it up here. And you find very few players like that. Because honestly,
I don't think that's a very good example to give on a lack of development for a player though. Like if you're telling me someone like,
there is a lack of good examples, you see, because other than Greenwood or Rashford,
doesn't that contradict your point?
Wait, what?
No, you're talking about 2 players who are already insanely talented, but has anyone who has like been almost like a no-name suddenly come up? You do realize that in all the time which we have spent, right? We haven't just spent on the first team in the transfer window. We spent like shit for our under 18s as well. We spent like 9 million euros to bring Hannibal Mejri from.
Wait, Raghav, I think I ask something. So your point is, I think I agree with your point, but I don't know why you're touching your nose like this when you get touched like this. But I'm trying to. No,
wait, man.
Wait, listen. So you're trying to agree. I agree with you in the fact that he hasn't developed anyone. Like look at Pep, developed Sterling, Klopp developed likes of Robertson, Trent. You're saying he hasn't developed anyone. Yeah, we all agree. But the point of Greenwood is a bit skewed. But I agree with your point. He hasn't developed anyone. Yeah, true.
Yeah. All right, we'll agree to disagree here.
Okay.
Wait, what? You just said
no. I mean, okay. I'll
agree to disagree about Greenwood. I mean, I'm glad you agree with me.
I just feel it's a bad example to
Greenwood.
give.
I still maintain my standard.
Okay, fine. Let's move on from there. So, okay, so you're saying that Ole is to blame, is it?
I'm not saying that Ole alone is to blame, because like Ole does take a significant portion of the blame, let's be honest. But at the same time, right, when what Kaushik was saying, I have to disagree with in terms of you can't blame the board, because you have to note that some signings are pretty suspicious. Like you see Donny van de
I'm
Beek, for
not saying
example.
that you should.
Raghav,
Like,
you're
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
No, serious. You see signings like Donny van de Beek. You see signings like Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Okay, like perhaps you can make an argument for Ronaldo because he was going to go to City otherwise, and you don't want to strengthen a rival. Okay, we can move that aside. But then you see situations where like you see his handling of Lingard, for example. You see his handling of Donny van de Beek and all that. I have a feeling there's definitely some sort of higher order that's telling Oli like, okay, you can sign these players. You cannot sign these players. We are going to agree to sign these players because of this sort of upside, if you know what I mean. If not, why do you think Oli only uses like a very small squad in terms of he trusts about week in, week out? You see his 11s other than his midfield, right?
I mean, let me stop you there. Let me just ask you a few questions.
Mm-hmm.
So while I do agree that the board has to take a lot of blame in the longer term, as of now, as it stands, do you agree that this current squad can be challenging for titles, like right now, as it is? With Sancho, with Varane, with Ronaldo, with Pogba, with Bruno, with Rashford, with Cavani.
Perhaps.
Okay,
I would be pretty
I'd
inclined
like to
say
cut.
this is
I'd like to cut in
challenging
here.
squad.
Okay, I'd like to cut in here. Okay, this is where I disagree with you guys. I don't think we are up there to mount the title challenge simply because we don't have a strong midfield. I know you guys talk about our attacking quality. Yeah, I'm hands down with that attacking quality. You tell me on paper, yeah, definitely we should be winning stuff. But the truth of the matter is, like Gary Neville says, we don't have those players who are willing to do the dirty work to complement those attacking players. That's the problem. That's the problem right now. McTominay and Fred are not cutting it, and because of that, I can't.
Finally.
Wait. No. Listen. Wait. Let me come to it.
No,
I also,
you haven't said this for very long. That's why.
Okay.
Yo,
Wait.
guys, chill, man.
Let me come to it also. Okay. Partly why it's more amplified this season is also because Ronaldo does not do much defensive work. That's the truth. And that one player, so you're almost playing like with a man less when Man United are playing currently as compared to previous seasons where they had young players who were willing to do the dirty work. So all 11 players were actually tracking back. So you don't see as many goals considered on the counter. Whereas right now with Ronaldo up top, we are one man down. But that is justifiable because he just needs one chance. I know the Leicester game wasn't great for him, but if Man United fans are going to judge him based on that one game, I think they should start supporting someone else because he has been there. He has been our main man. 4 goals in the first month. I mean, we couldn't ask more for him. It's a perfect start. So for me, I just feel like Ole has 50% of the blame, but I also believe that in a way, with this current team, I do not think another manager is going to do any better because even if you want to have a proper tactical system, right, you need some solid defensive players, at least in the middle of the park, to actually help you mount that title challenge. So if I'm looking at the great teams that have won the league, right, or even let's not even go that far behind. Let's look at City. They have Rodri. Look at Liverpool. They have Fabinho. Look at Chelsea. They have Kante and Jorginho. All these teams, all these well-drilled teams who are more than capable of mounting a title challenge, they have a solid and stable midfield. Whereas for us, I think we've been found out this season because of a signing of Ronaldo, which was quite unexpected to be honest, because all of us thought that we're going to outscore the opposition, which is what we did last season. I mean, it wasn't a title challenge per se, but I would say it's the closest we've come to even remotely challenging for the title. So right now, who is to blame? Manager has to take some blame, but do I think he needs to be sacked right now? No, I don't think he should be sacked right now because we have a tough run of fixtures coming in. I think making a change right now is not good for the club. It's going to take us 10 steps back, and for a new manager to come and implement the system, I think it's not a good time to do it because it'll be another rebuilding phase, and I don't think this team needs to be in a rebuilding phase. Definitely performances are under par, but I say give him time till 10 to 11 games. I think one game has already been passed with the Leicester game. We already failed that first test, but We've seen Ole, whenever he's under pressure, is able to backs against the wall, is able to perform. I mean, time and again, I think there was numerous number of times within his United career where he should have been sacked, but he somehow comes up with this amazing result and then saves his job, and then they go on this amazing run. And you have to agree that some sort of top four stability is also because of him. Some may argue his time is up. I was always pro Ole to begin with. I am now coming towards this side a bit. I'm on the fence, 50-50. But yeah, I think only time will tell whether I'm Ole out or Ole in. Right now, I'm still quite on the fence, I would say. And the blame is 50-50 with the 50% with Ole, 50% with the board, because it's a bit too. I know it's a bit too critical of them because they've made some amazing signings, but end of the day, without a stable midfield, you can't mount a title challenge. That's the fact of the matter. Yeah.
Okay. Can I weigh in on
Didn't we
this?
win the league with cleverly? And didn't we beat Arsenal?
Ferguson is
2-0 with
class.
eight defenders?
No one comes close to Ferguson. That's a problem.
So you do prove my point that a better manager can get.
I don't think
more
anyone
out
is
of
as good as
squad.
Ferguson. That's the thing. I don't think even a Zidane.
True,
See,
but-
even if you talk about Zidane or Conte, for example, right? Zidane. Okay, wait. Sorry, Pramod. Just finish
Yeah,
my
go
point.
ahead.
So Zidane won the Champions League thrice with an amazing team. Okay, he had Kroos, Modric, all in their prime. He had Ronaldo up top. Yeah, I mean, winning the Champions League, you have to give him full credit. I mean, to do it 3 times is amazing. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it does have a bit of a disclaimer in the sense that it was a very strong team. Okay, it's not an expectation per se, but it does in a sense. It's not like he bought an okay team to win the Champions League. It's really a very good team. That's the kind of team he bought to win the Champions League. Whereas for Conte, I think he's done phenomenally well to whichever club he's gone to. He won with Inter. Yeah, I'll give him that. But whether he is the right man to take us to a title challenge right now, I'm not too sure, because I still think he will need a few more signings to actually implement the system 3 at the back, and that will take time. For me, I think you still have to give Ole some time this season to see how it goes. I still feel that he needs some time. I know we've been very patient with him. I think he has delivered everything apart from a trophy. Yeah, you have to give him that at the very least. But yeah, I think we need for this season. I'm not Ole out just yet. Yeah, that's my point. Pramod, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, wow, so many things. So basically, you mentioned, okay, time, okay, fair enough. But like, it's been 4 years, we haven't won a trophy. Van Gaal got sacked after winning the FA Cup. Mourinho got sacked after winning the Europa League. So, I mean, trophies are what speaks. That's one point. Secondly, right, the whole thing, rebuilding, I don't know, look at Tuchel and Lampard. Tuchel came in, he just did this to a team. I don't know if rebuilding is actually that necessary, considering the score we have. Would you say
Exactly
so?
my point. Yeah,
Like
look,
what Tuchel did.
I think Chelsea have shown that what a top class manager can do. Chelsea didn't have a striker. I mean, Werner was just off the pace so badly. They still won the Champions League. I think. Look, to be very honest, this team might not yet be fully equipped to win the Premier League. Like you said, yeah, midfield is important to go the distance of the season. But in a cup, a Champions League, or forget FA Cup, I just look at Champions League. Right? I really think this team has enough quality, enough firepower to get through, and enough defensive quality to see it through. But we're not doing anything in game. We're not adapting to the game. We're not rising up to the challenge thrown to us by our opponents. So I think that part, that's on Ole. Like, you can't blame on anyone else. And we have seen Tuchel come in and implement his system. Yeah, you might say, going from a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 to a 3-4-3 is a bit of a uphill task. But Tuchel has shown that he's very adaptable. He's played different systems, but he's not just been like, okay, I'm only going to play 3-4-3. He's changed his game according to the opponent, according to the needs. And I think a top quality manager can do that. Or if Ole can pick up the pace and at least get some sort of flexibility in him, he can do that. Like, look, we have seen him for 4 years. He's only played 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3. And if it's not working, why not try a 3-4-3? At the most, you lose a few games, but hey, on the flip side, you might go on a run, you might mask the weakness of your midfield because you have 3 defenders and you have 2 wing backs supporting, or just two midfielders in front, right? Which does go somewhere to negate the destructive capability of McFred. So, I think in that sense, at least get in some sort of flexibility. Like, I agree with you that maybe Ole should not be sacked ASAP, but look, in football, it's all about results right now. It's not
Yeah, I
about
agree. Completely agree. Yeah.
people will say, oh, we gave Ferguson so much time, but Ferguson won before he came. He won with Aberdeen. He won in Europe with Aberdeen.
Point.
He broke Madrid's monopoly on it. So look, I think if you're looking at Ole has not won anything, right? And at the end of the day, I don't really care about FA Cup or Carabao Cup. I think those two, it's
Yeah.
not really worth it in terms
We're out of
a
it.
big team.
So
I think
So yeah, so
no, yeah.
yeah.
I think for
So
Man United
rather
fans,
Premier
right, the
League-
barometer of success is not dependent on. I mean, let me. It is also a sort of, I guess, a counter to what Pramod said. In all honesty, I don't think Man United fans care about the FA Cup or Carabao Cup in terms of a trophy per se. I think what we are more concerned about is winning the league or mounting a challenge for the Champions League, because those two are the
we're
trophies
not
we really
Arsenal,
want.
but fuck it.
Sorry.
We're not Arsenal.
Um,
We don't care
wait,
about
what?
the FA Cup.
Wait, but we still. But wait, so
No,
you're
but
saying
that's
that-
I mean, end of the day, that's what I feel you're going to measure. Be it Ole or any future manager that's going to take the helm at United. That's going to be the barometer of success you're going to, or that is success in a season. Winning the league or winning the Champions League. That's going to be the new sort of benchmark we are aiming for. And I don't think we're going to be satisfied with, let's say, a 4th place finish and maybe winning the FA Cup. I don't think that's going to cut it for any manager right now, because we've seen that already with LVG and Jose Mourinho. So clearly,
But they got sacked after that one. So
correct.
doesn't that
So
warrant
yeah, I'm just saying
that
that
was-
just winning a trophy doesn't cut it. We really need to make inroads into the league, and so far world-class managers haven't been able to do it. Ole is, yeah, I mean, he's falling off the pace a bit. Definitely, it's going to be an uphill task to do anything this season. But end of the day, I just feel like hiring another manager right now, or even like 6 months down the road, doesn't necessarily guarantee us. I mean, yeah, you brought up the Tuchel example. I think it's a very good example. But how many times have we seen a manager being able to implement a system straight off the bat?
I can give you
haven't.
another example. Like, okay, this is very similar to Ole. So I would draw comparisons to Ole and Rodgers. So Rodgers took over from, I don't know who, Dalglish or whoever. He stabilized the ship. Gerrard slipped and then they lost, but he sort of got this team. Then Klopp came in, he just shot up the team. So I see Ole as the guy like Rodgers. He sort of stabilized it, and I'm very thankful for that. We were sinking, now we are afloat. But I feel someone should guide the ship really. He's not good enough to like guide the ship. He doesn't have the, like you say, like Kaushik said, the tactical nuance.
Okay.
Yeah. Ultimately that's my point. Yeah. So I'm thankful, but it's just not sustainable. Yeah.
Yeah, so Raghav, give you one moment. I think it's similar to when Barca had Rijkaard, right? Before they brought in Pep to bring us to the next level. I mean, yeah, they were winning La Liga and whatnot and Champions League because they had so much of star quality in Ronaldinho and Deco. But, it got to a point when they realized that, to really get in consistency, they had to bring in someone new, someone with good tactical ability. And they got in Pep. I think similarly, Ole has done a great job to stabilize the ship, well and good. And while he's still quite on top, I think it would be good for him to leave while we still have the ability to get in someone like Conte or even
Okay.
Lowe.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question on that front. Okay, let's say Ole gets sacked today, for example. You bring in a new manager. How patient would you be with the new manager in terms of mounting a title challenge or mounting a Champions League challenge? Yeah, either one. How long do you think? How long would you give him?
I think this season
in.
is how to say, you cannot consider this season. So you get him this season under the end to like, because practically we are out of the title race. We haven't played any of the big six and we are 4 points behind. So we are next week we're going to lose probably. After that, City, Tottenham, Arsenal is just coming. So we're just going to fall out. And then Champions League, if you lose to Atlanta day after tomorrow, we are probably out of the group stage. So what is there for the new manager to win? Nothing. He can just slowly build his team. Then at the end of the season, we see where we are. And the worst thing is, if we drop to the Europa League, right, because of Ole, can you imagine Ronaldo playing Europa League? Do you want that to fall on Ole? I cannot imagine that blame on such a legend of our club who won us the treble. That's the biggest embarrassment for opponent fans to shit on us.
But actually, I would kind of disagree there with you on the fact that this season is a write-off, because come to think about it, right, we're only out of the FA Cup. So at the very least, right, if a manager joins in at this current point in time, I think like it is still very reasonable for him for the board or somebody to tell him like, okay, your aim is to at least win is to at least win a trophy, like win like
The
win
only
the
one we can
Carabao
win
Cup
is
or
the
like
Carabao Cup.
win
Yeah.
Europa League or like go perhaps like Champions League
Europa
last
League.
like
For CR7.
Europa League if we lose to Atlanta, or you literally
Guys,
like
we
go
haven't
all
been
the way
knocked
to
down
like
yet, guys. Relax. We're
quarterfinals.
still in the tournament.
No, we are still in,
or
but looking at the
quarterfinals of the
damage.
Champions League. Like we have to set an aim like that. And then because this squad, even though it's the midfield is a bit dry right now, right? It is still stacked with a lot of forwards. And you don't always like not every single tactic requires a very stacked midfield in the sense. Like you see Pep's tactics and Tuchel's tactics and all that, right? They all really involve the midfield. But then if you're talking about for one season, right? If you really need to just make a push for a season, then surely there are lots of tactics available which you can use to bypass the midfield and make the most of what you have at the moment, which is a good defense and a great forward line as well. And then at the same time, regarding the league, at least try to finish, at least like make sure you're within the top three, because this squad definitely can make it to the top three. That much has to be put there. You can't give the manager a free pass.
So okay, yeah. So I mean, finishing top 3, is that satisfactory to you guys? That's the thing. I don't think you guys will be satisfied with top.
I would take top 3 at this point. We haven't played, as I say, we haven't played any big team. You know, think of any
you don't
big
know
team
how
we play.
consistent the other teams are going to be as well. You saw Liverpool like last season or the season before last. They were just insanely consistent.
In the next 10 games, right, we are playing the big 6, all the big 6. We could potentially be 10 points behind the top 4.
Okay, but that's the thing. I will always have this asterisk with Ole's teams, because he always, the only place he gets points against is against the big teams. So that's the thing. So for us, we always struggle against the smaller teams. That's the problem with us. So I wouldn't write us off completely. Let me tell you, Liverpool, they're going to draw against Liverpool, 101%. I'm telling you, at Old Trafford. Despite the horrendous performance against Leicester, right? Somehow we'll turn up against a big team. Somehow our counter attacking, and Rashford is fit. Rashford banged the goal.
Without Varane, right? I'm actually very worried. I think we could be down. Salah hat trick. I'm going triple captain. Like, I'm not looking forward to Salah against Maguire.
Okay, to be fair, I am scared of Salah. I mean, he's been banging in goals left, right. I mean, do you guys see the
Varane was the only like okay, we have something. Now he's gone for like I don't know how many 5 weeks or what. So what, we could potentially be out of everything, like what I said at the end of this month. Another 12 days.
It is a realistic possibility, but I won't write us off completely yet, lah. I mean, I still feel until it's mathematically impossible, I won't write us off, lah. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but I've learned under Ole that when you make these kind of pessimistic predictions, he does tend to, whenever his job is very close or on the line, that's when he starts performing. And yeah, I mean, I won't be surprised to see him perform in this.
Hasn't he been on the line for like very long? Ever since like I don't know.
Not really. I feel that's a bit. I feel some of the times when his head has been on the chopping board has been a bit unwarranted in some sense. Like, yes, I mean the Europa League last season was an expectation to win, but whether or not, I mean, I don't think it's fair to say it was. I mean, yeah, it is a failure to win a trophy, but in terms of the league progression wise, I still feel it's the closest we've come to winning the title. I wouldn't even say that. I mean, even closer than the Mourinho season.
I agree. Yeah.
So I think it's a bit.
A couple of points here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So firstly, against the big teams, he brings out his 3-5-2. It like I said, the 3-5-2 or the 3-4-3, whatever variation it is, it does mitigate our weakness in the midfield. That like Fred weakness is just entirely I guess swallowed up by Shaw and Varane and whoever else plays the third centre back. So that's one. So with 3-5-2, I think if he does stick to it, doesn't change it, now I think we do have a chance of winning against the big teams, especially on the counter with Rashford and Greenwood or Sancho on the wing, and Ronaldo as well. That's one. Two, I think we saw last season when like City were I think 10th or 11th, like going into November, and all they had to do was put together a good run, a proper run to get themselves into first and then get ahead of the pack. And that's all that's really needed. You need a consistent run of games to get there. We're not too far off. We still haven't played the big teams, but I mean, we're Man United, man. If you're not going to back ourselves up to win against these teams, and then what are we doing, right? Might as well just close up shop and just go watch something else, right? So that's one. Yeah, and thirdly, look, in terms of a top 3 finish or top 4 finish, I guess we went up to second last season. So I guess, this season there has to be some sort of improvement. If not, at least going to win the league. Like what I think Gary Neville said. At least we have to show that we are a threat to be reckoned with. Like our second last season was nothing. Like Liverpool did not have depth, did not have Van Dijk. Chelsea were, like I said, they were a cup team, right? They did not have Lukaku. They didn't have a proper striker in place.
We
And
finished
Tuchel's
3
tactics
points
were
ahead
great in
of
Champions League.
Liverpool, actually. Yeah, just to add
Yeah,
on.
so
Yeah.
exactly. So Liverpool went
That's
that
it.
far with a broken defense. So look, we at least need to show that we are something reckoned. Like Liverpool, before they won the league with Klopp, they were showing consistently that they were a force to be reckoned with. Like you can't mess with them. It's not, you can't just say it's a one-off season or it's just based on Klopp's genius or someone carrying the team. They were there consistently. So at least we show. Like I guess for most fans, if we can know that and on game day 38 that we did show that we are somewhat back to normal. We've never seen us challenging. Like we've never in all the seasons since Fergie left, we've never been able to say that this team does have a genuine opportunity. It's always just been after the summer we signed some people and the pundits will come and they'll be like, yeah, we have a bit of hope. But that's because they're ex-players. They can't should talk their own team. But look, at least we have to show that we are in it. If we can show that, then yeah, I would take it. Even if we finish fourth or third, but we have to show that that we are up there. If not, I guess this season is really a waste of time. Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with what you said. But I mean, to be
Actually,
honest,
if
I think.
could raise
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, if I could just raise one last point about that. Like just now, Kaushik, you said that we aren't that far off, right? Actually, I would kind of like put a slight asterisk there, because the thing is, like, you see all the new teams coming around and you see our run of fixtures that we have already gone through. And you see like the style of play that all of the teams had. You saw like Wolves, for example. We had a lot of trouble breaking them down. Newcastle, well, we had Ronaldo's brilliance to help with that, right? But then when we played against like Everton, when we played against Leicester, and even like you see the other teams coming up now, like Brentford, for example, they literally were playing for a win all the way until the end. That's how good they were. They actually had like a defined style of play. And this season, I feel like our style of play has been sort of found out in a sense. Like we've been found out to really lack that sort of thing. So I wouldn't say that we aren't far off, but I would say that even though it's possible, a lot of work has to be put in, like through whatever next 2 or 3 weeks has to come to really overhaul whatever like tactical misunderstandings that are there in the team. And only through that sort of thing we can then be optimistic, because as you said, only when we see a convincing performance, that's when we can like believe ourselves that okay, this team can actually challenge for the title. And to be honest, even like since the Newcastle game, we haven't exactly seen a convincing performance from Manchester United, even when they've won.
Yep. Okay, I think we've sort of come to the conclusion of our episode. Let's just go around the table. Quickly say who is to blame for Man United woes this season. Maybe Kaushik can start it off.
Yeah, so I would say partly Ole, and I did want to bring up another point. That we don't really have control over the players, in the sense that even if our players underperform, they're still starting every week, and that does fall on Ole. But it just shows that tells the players that if we don't perform, we're still going to start. There's nothing much. There's no consequence. So I guess that lull has to be broken, and that falls on Ole or the coaching or whoever is in charge of it. So I would say Ole, the board in the long term, and thirdly, giving the players too much power. These three.
Okay. Raghav?
I would say Ole, and then the coaching, and then the board as well. All three of them. Not equal, but probably like Ole takes at least like 45%. With the coaching taking another like 40%, and then the board is like, what can we do?
Bravo, 100% Ole.
I mean, at this point, yeah, but I mean, the long term is of course the board, like the way they are like using the club as a cash cow. All that we know all that stuff. But
yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's definitely it stays behind. So Ole is the reason.
Ole is okay. Yeah. Before for myself, okay, I didn't mention this much, but I think the players have to get a fair share of the blame. I think so much so I think I would even take 50%, give 50% of the blame to Ole, and 50% of the blame to the players, because I think they are responsible for putting in the performances as well. I think I saw no desire. I mean, there was a lack of desire to play against Leicester. There was, no one was chasing after the ball, poor touches, really just sloppy overall. I mean, at some point, it can't be just down to the coach. It also has to do with the players as well. The board, yes, I've already mentioned about the board, but I think in some sense, right now where we are, I think the blame has to be shared between the players as well as the manager. So yeah, I think only time will tell what is going to happen with Ole's future. Of course, we now know that Ole is going to be backed at least until January, from what I hear. But I think
Can I make a bold prediction?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so by the end of this month, I think he'll be gone. 12 more days. Just
Really?
a bold prediction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'll be
Come
interested. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
If you
that
said by
happens.
January, that would have sounded more believable. But
That's why it's called a
1
bold
month,
prediction,
sure.
because I'm not completely.
I won't say it's entirely impossible, because if you get spanked by Liverpool at home, I think that's going to be a big issue. We started with Mourinho, right? We got smacked 3-1 with Shaqiri. Like, after all players, Shaqiri, maybe Salah scored, then I said okay, but Shaqiri scored. Like, Shaqiri's a nobody, and Shaqiri scored and Mourinho got sacked. I think, if Ole does not turn up against United, does not turn up against Liverpool, then I guess alarm bells will really start ringing.
Yep, quite a possibility. So yeah, I think we've sort of come to the end of the episode. Thank you, Kaushik and Raghav, for coming on to the show. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself.
Thanks for having us, man.
No worries, man. No worries.
For having us, man.
Yep. Pramod, take it away before we end the show.
Oh, okay. So Ole's going to get sacked soon, but beyond that, so as usual, you mean a world to us to, as I said at the start, just go and hit a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on Spotify, Instagram, as the Next Team Podcast and Next Team SG. Just share your comments on what you feel is going to happen. Maybe, the unthinkable can happen.
Yep, we'll see if the unthinkable happens. And thank you so much, guys, for the support so far. It's been 40 episodes. I mean, wow, can't believe it. It's already been 40 episodes. But yeah, thanks so much for your support, and we hope to see you guys again in the next episode of the Next Team Podcast. Bye bye.